Okay, we will call the Senate Standing Committee for State and Local Government to order. This is meeting 6. Madam Clerk, please call a roll.
Senator Alvarado.
Here.
Senator Harper Angel. Senator McDaniel. Senator McGarvey. Senator Schroeder. Senator Southworth.
Here.
Senator Storm.
Here.
Senator Thayer.
Here.
Senator Wheeler. Senator Nemus.
Present.
Senator Mills.
I'm here, and we do have a quorum present. We have 3 bills on our agenda today, and we'll try to work through those expeditiously here. We're going to go a little out of order here. With first, we're going to do Senate Bill 65, which is Senator West. Senator West, come to the table and introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's just me today. I do have behind me, I have Eric Clark on staff, and I have Mr. O'Daniel, who was involved in some of the regs that I'll be talking about. But you have before you Senate Bill 65. If you'll recall last year, most of you, if not all of you, probably voted on Senate Bill 65. We were able to keep, through the help of Senator Thayer, we were able to keep the same bill number to add some stability there. But this is the bill that we started to file last year, and it kind of goes in conjunction with Senate Bill 2 that passed last year. And so I, as chair of administrative regs, we keep a composite list of all the regs that were found deficient throughout the year. And as we go into session, I file a bill that finds those regulations null and void. And the purpose of this is more or less to keep the executive branch honest. So they will work with us. And what we saw happening was, regs would come through administrative regs. We would find them deficient. The cabinet would, go on, and those regs would be implemented anyway. And there really wasn't a lot of teeth to the Administrative Reg Review Committee. And so this is just another way to put some teeth into the committee, to let the administration know that when we bring up a deficiency motion, we're serious. There's a valid reason for that. On the flip side, this bill in no way hamstrings the executive branch. We review hundreds, if not thousands, of regulations in the committee. We meet once a month, even through the interim. And from last year.
Sorry, Senator West, go ahead.
May I continue, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
For some reason, I got sidetracked. I don't know. But at that time, we cover hundreds, if not thousands, of regs in the administrative reg process. We only found one regulation deficient during that period, and that's what's on our list this year. This will be your annual Senate Bill 65. This deficient regulation is null and void bill. That's what's going on here. So, after questions, Mr. Chairman, I would ask for a favorable expression of SB 65.
Okay, we have a motion on the bill. There's a second from Senator Alvarado. Are there any questions of Senator West? I think this is a very good. Oh, sorry. Senator Southworth.
Thank you. And I remember Senate Bill 65 this last year, and I just wanted to find out, is this subsection 2 kind of different from last year, or I just don't remember it? Or is this a different, because it talks about amendments of regs that I'm not sure if they exist yet or not. It sounds a little confusing.
Yeah, basically this was meant to pertain to this particular reg, and so it was meant to protect us if they chose not to implement the reg, but they chose to implement the reg later, it would still be null and void. So we're trying to make sure no games are played, that this regulation is null and void. And if you come back and try to file same or similar reg, it's null and void.
Okay, thank you.
And nothing prevents, if the administration wants this reg, and they have to have this reg, and the Commonwealth of Kentucky cannot function another year without this reg, they can come to the legislative branch, and we can carry that out if we agree. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Any other questions concerning this? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Alvarado.
Aye.
Senator Harper Angel. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator McGarvey. Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Schroeder. Senator Southworth.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer.
I'd like to explain my vote.
Yes, you may.
I vote aye. This is an excellent bill. The first committee I chaired when I got into the Senate was administrative regs. It's a lot of work, and I appreciate your efforts. You're doing a great job. And I'd just like to point out the Administrative Regs Committee has found regs deficient from Republican administrations and Democrat administrations. And it's just the nature of the executive branch, who's ever in charge, that from time to time they try to do things that's outside the scope of legislative intent. And it is completely within the statutory authority of the General Assembly to go ahead and take administrative regulations that were found deficient and get them off the books. And that's what this does. And I appreciate your efforts and happily vote aye.
Senator Wheeler.
I vote aye. Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Senator West, for bringing this bill. And, as a practitioner, like you say, this is something that if it's done, should have been done through statute. And, it's my understanding there was an agreement to consult with the legislative branch on that, an agreement which was not abided by between the administration and the legislative branch. And so thank you for bringing this bill to let them know that there needs to be a dialogue before these types of regulations and drastic changes to the system are passed.
Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Okay, by a count of 9-1, Senate Bill 65 is approved with favorable expression. Senator West, thank you for your time. Next on the agenda is Senator Meredith. Would like to come forward? Senator, introduce yourself and any guests, and you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Senator Steve Meredith, representing the 5th District, which is Meade, Breckenridge, Grayson, Edmondson, and Hart, LaRue counties. And I'm certainly a pleasure to be here today. I think in my 6 years here, this is only the second time I've been before this committee, and I didn't know it was this entertaining, so maybe I can be here more frequently. But the bill I'm presenting to you today, you heard last session. As a matter of fact, it made it out of this committee, made it through the Senate, and made it to the House committee. It passed, but we ran out of time in the House. And it comes as a direct result of my work as co-chair of the Government Contract Review Committee. And I need to give a little bit of background about this. Back in 2020, we reviewed contracts for our third-party administration for our workers' compensation program. And this was a $50 million plus contract. And I thought it was very suspicious that we only had 2 companies that submitted or replied to the RFP, which is something that large, particularly for that type of service, because I know they're all across the United States. And as we looked into it further, found out that the company they were going to award it to was about $1 million higher than the next bidder. This just doesn't look right. And as we looked into it a little bit further, we found out that there was a company that had the contract for several years, and they're in previous years, at the attempt to renew their contract, they were not the low bidder. But because of the relationship between their lobbyist and members of the cabinet, they were informed of what the low bid was and directed to lower their bid, and they would receive the contract. And as a result of all this, you may remember that 3 men went to federal prison over this situation. So this same company that was awarded the contract had 14 executive commission violations filed against them. And they agreed to a $50,000 settlement rather than proceed with the charges against them. So we have a company that's been awarded the contract that's not the low bidder, has a lobbyist and two other gentlemen who are serving prison time for their involvement in this. They've been cited for Executive Ethics Commission violations, but yet we're going to consider, we're going to award the bid to them. And the response to the staff at that time was, well, there's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing in statute that really excludes them from the RFP process. Really, there should be. And, this is about as egregious as any situation you'd ever find. People don't like to come before our committees. I think Senator Southworth will attest to, but I tell them they should, because we're kind of like the good housekeeping seal of approval, that if it passes our muster, then it's a good contract and gives confidence to the people of the Commonwealth that it's a good contract. And if you can't get that from us, then there's certainly problems with it. We protested this contract, but we were overruled by the finance cabinet, and they awarded it anyway. But this really is a terrible, terrible situation. And just remind you that the person involved in this was a consultant named James Sullivan, and he was accused of bribing the ex-cabinet secretary. And specifically, this arrangement gained around 2010, and he represented Cannon, Cochran, and Management Services, a company which was paid about $1 million a year to administer the Kentucky Sports Compensation claims. And Tim Longmire, who was with the cabinet at that time, testified he met with Sullivan and had offered him a Christmas present. As a result, CCMSI, which is Cannon Cochran Management Services, Inc., first won the contract in 2005. In 2010, Longmire said he worked to keep the contract with his firm because Sullivan had paid him. Again, certainly not in the best interest for our Commonwealth. And I know there's a lot of litigation about this, but all these issues aside, I can't see where it makes sense in terms of transparency for our state to award a contract to a company that's involved in this kind of activity. So this bill specifically says that if you have that no contracts will be awarded, extended, and renewed to a bidder or contractor under this chapter, which is 45A, our model procurement code, if the bidder or contractor procured an original, subsequent, or similar contract through the use of an executive agency lobbyist who was convicted of a crime related to the original and subsequent or similar contracts within 5 years of the conviction of that lobbyist. So I think that's a fair standard to have to adhere to. The other part of this has to do with folks who are involved in the scoring of these contracts. And if you're not familiar with that, just because you have the low bid doesn't mean you have the best bid. That there's a scoring mechanism that's supposedly tied to each RFP that tells you that the bid is just part of the scoring process. There's other factors that are involved, and I think it's a little bit too ambiguous. Another issue we need to address, but again, these contracts are scored, and then the best contract gets awarded. And I think there's opportunity to manipulate the scoring process. And if people are involved in that, they theoretically could go to work for a firm that was awarded the contract, knowing that they had influenced the outcome, and then go back to work for that firm, in theory. So the additional thing that this bill does is says that, no officer, employee, or appointee of an agency, including persons who serve without salary or other payments, may participate in the procurement of a contract under this chapter as it relates to their prior employment until at least 1 year has passed since his or her termination with that employer. We have the same standard for lobbyists, so I don't know why it shouldn't be extended to these people as well. But again, this is just to make our procurement process as fair and transparent as possible, ensure that every time that we have a contract, it passes that good housekeeping seal of approval standard that we've set for it. So that's the bill, Mr. Chair.
Very good.
Entertain any questions?
Thank you, Senator Meredith. Are there any questions of Senator Meredith? Senator Schroeder.
Thank you for, you hear me? Thanks for bringing the bill. So I'm curious, so this is, I'm looking at it again, no contract shall be awarded. So we're talking about all contracts, not just no bid contracts in that section.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have a motion from Senator Southworth. There's a second with Senator Storm. If there are no other questions, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Alvarado.
Aye.
Senator Harper Angel. Senator McDaniel.
Cast my vote and explain.
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Senator Meredith, thank you for following up on this. You know, there's a lot of committees in this town that kind of don't get a lot of attention. They're just sleepy little committees, but they do a lot of really important work, and your attention to contract review has been one of them. I've been really happy. One of my most disappointing defeats in the General Assembly was when I was first on contract review. We couldn't get a contract disapproved for $2,700 to euthanize a descented skunk with a broken leg. So, you know, there's a lot of weird stuff that comes in front of that committee, but, you know, congratulations on this.
What's his vote?
That was an aye, correct?
I'm sorry, I was so busy in my story, I didn't cast a vote.
Senator McGarvey. Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Schroeder. Senator Southworth.
Cast my I vote and explain.
Yes, you may.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate your indulgence with our other Mr. Chairman here from Contracts Committee. He claims that this committee is entertaining, but I assure you the Contracts Committee is the most entertaining of all committees.
I'm sure.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer.
Aye.
Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Mills.
I vote aye. With a vote of 10-0, Senate Bill 46 is approved with favorable expression.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the committee. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Senator Meredith. Our final item on our agenda is Senator Nemus as he makes his way down to the table. We'll have him introduce himself and his guests that are here, and the floor is yours, Senator Nemus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I'm Senator Mike Nemus from Bullitt County.
I'm Bruce Roberts. I'm the Deputy Director of the Kentucky Fire Commission.
We have a simple but important bill here. We passed it out of the Senate last year, and because it ran into time, and we were very we were focusing on four-wheelers and constables at the late session, so we couldn't quite get this bill through. But it's very important. It's hard to find teachers and instructors and people to work. So we have part-time adjutant instructors that don't want to work because it affects their retirement. So what this does is it takes care of that, and we have a actuarial analysis that says it does not do anything pro or con to the retirement system. If there are any questions, we'll be glad to field them.
Any questions for Senator Nemus? Okay, we have a motion for Senator McDaniel, second Senator Wheeler. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Alvarado.
Aye.
Senator Harper Angel. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator McGarvey. Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Schroeder. Senator Southworth.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer.
Aye.
Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Mills.
I vote aye, and with a count of 10-0, Senate Bill 27 is approved with favorable expression.
Thank you.
Senator Nemus and Mr. Roberts, thank you for being here. If there is not any other business before the committee, we stand adjourned.